Hi, everybody. Just wanted to come on here and share with you about resting. Now, if you've been following me and have listened to my podcast for about 2 years now, God had dropped something in my spirit as I went on a 8-year journey with God of transforming, awakening consciously, and my whole life transformed for the better. Everything. My physical body transformed. I lost at most over 70 pounds. And so I've been really more from a place of, as it relates to my health, now that I am sort of out of that. I was in a season when I was in that process of getting healthier and really being in tune to God. I stepped out of I don't know if you would say the drill sergeant season, and more from a place of operating from a place of rest. And so now that I'm in the process out of that wilderness season, out of that intense, I would call it intense spiritual changing and transformation that was happening inside of me physically and spiritually, I found myself realizing that I had to take my focus off of losing weight and take my focus more on how I wanted to feel in my body. And I didn't want to be a prisoner of food, but I wanted to eat whole. I didn't want to mindlessly eat, but I wanted to live a life of wholeness and happiness within my heart, and to be true to myself. And I share this message of healing on my journey. And so in all areas of my life, God wanted me to operate from a place of rest. And oftentimes, when we don't operate from a place of rest, we operate out of fear because we are afraid that God won't have our back, or that we're afraid, really, in essence, that we don't trust ourselves. And I can't tell you how many times I have looked at other influencers, looked at other people for the answers, when all along, really, the answer was inside of me. Not negating coaching, not negating wise counsel, not negating any of those things. But I do recognize, and I have reached a point in my journey that I am walking and talking and operating from a place of within. Walking and talking, operating from a place from within. And I would encourage each and every one of you to follow what the Spirit is leading you, guiding you, because that's your inner compass. And so operating from a place of rest is not always the most popular thing, because we live in a society that validates no sleep, that validates hustle, that validates that grind culture. And I am leaning more into trusting the voice within, trusting that path within, because it is from that where you find your truth, where you find your power, where you find your compass of where it leads you. Your compass is not outside of you, but the compass is within you. And if anyone who you are seeking counsel with, or coaching with, or following, if it doesn't resonate or confirm already what you have within you, I would encourage you to not allow them to be your path, but allow the Spirit within you to be your guiding path. It is beneficial to, of course, seek wise counsel, but once again, it has to be in alignment with already what your spirit is saying. So I just want to encourage you on today to get quiet somewhere. And you will find that when you continue to follow and listen to that path, maybe reading books, I've been guided to read books. There are so many different avenues that I have taken, and it always has taken me back to that place of truth. So I would just encourage you, for those of you who are doubting, maybe what God is speaking to you, or what has been deposited in your spirit, or you might be afraid to take that leap, or might think you're crazy, or you might put it in the back of your head like I used to do, and just kind of go along with the was it business as usual, or you go along with what everybody else is doing because it's popular. You might feel that you don't want to be alone, or you might feel that you need validation, and so you stick with what you stick with the crowd. I have fortunately have always not wanted. I just wasn't wired to stick with the crowd. I wasn't wired. I've always been wired as an individual, as a person of independent thought. But I have had insecurities where I did feel like I had to follow along with the crowd, and I had to step out of that and drop that net and follow the voice within. So I would encourage you. My journey, it doesn't have to take, your journey doesn't have to take as long as mine did. And time is also relative, but because I followed the voice within, it has brought me peace. Because I have followed the voice within, I was able to heal. Because I have followed the voice within, my soul is at peace. And God will continue to add what it is that God needs to add. There was something else that dropped in my spirit as well, and that was God was sharing with me, and I want to share it with you, that having the gifts of the Spirit is the answer to the tangible. Having the gifts of the Spirit is the answer to the tangible. And more importantly, I read in a book by Randolph Price called The Jesus Code. And I would recommend you read it if you're on that wavelength. If you're not, it's totally fine. Everybody's on different paths, different levels of consciousness. But as I was reading, it's not so much that you gain the spiritual gifts for the control of the tangible. It's not for that, because that's a sense of control. That's where ego steps in. And so there's a level of mindfulness that one must take. And so when I was talking about wealth, when I told you that God was restoring and transforming every aspect of me, right? And so wealth is one of them. And so as I began listening, God had put in my spirit that He said, you have the spiritual gifts. You have the fruit of the Spirit. And look up what the fruit of the Spirit is. You have the fruit of the Spirit. And in having the fruit of the Spirit, it is because of that all these things will be added unto you. But once again, it is not that I have the gifts to get the things, because that is a level of control, and that is a level of doubt, and that is a mindset of scarcity mentality. And so there's a level of shifting that one must do, right? And so, now that I think about it, I think I needed all them 8 years. We're always evolving. We're always expanding. But I wanted to just share that with you, to follow and trust the voice within, that it is oftentimes in contradiction to what the world says of how you're supposed to show up. God wants to bring you to a place of peace, and that peace is listening to the voice within. So I hope that helps. I do one-on-one coaching and also group coaching. and helping you heal, and not only heal, but identify what those subconscious fear-based belief patterns are, to help you sharpen what is already inside of you. That blueprint already inside of you. The answers are already inside of you. And so I'm just merely a guide to help you unlock that, because the answers are already inside of you. It's just that sometimes you may not be aware of what those blocks are. And that's what I help people do. So that's it. I hope you guys got some good information from it, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.